Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. I had a box turn up yesterday, complete surprise. This has come from Pard. This is the latest Pantera Thermal Riflescope. This is the Pantera Zoom series, circular display, net D rating of sub 20 millikelvin, dual field of view. We've got the laser rangefinder on it. We've also got ballistics on board as well. So this is the 640 sensor. So as I say, it came to me as a complete surprise, to be honest, and I've just broken the box, but hey ho. So we have a neoprene cover for it. We've got an instruction manual, we have some packaging, and here it is. So it looks quite similar to the DS3570, but of course it's a thermal, not a night vision. So I'll have a look at that in a second. Let's just check what else is in the box. We have got the rubber eye cup, which we may or may not want to use, and I think there'll be a set of scope rings supplied in this box here, which is obviously very tricky to open without tearing it. What we got there? Right, there's some scope rings in there, 30mm Picatinny scope rings. So they're a little bit high. I've seen those before. They're quite good rings, to be fair, but they're a little bit too tall for what I want on the rifle. And in here, let's see what this is. I'm hoping this is going to be. We have some Allen keys for the scope rings. We've got a charge lead and a data transfer cable, and we've also got a lens cloth. So I'll pop those back in there for now. I don't need those for the moment. Those neoprene covers are quite good actually, because they do keep everything from getting damaged, and it's always when you put them in your cabinets they get damaged. Just pop that out of the way. Right, shall we look at the instruction book so I can tell you some of the specific details, or shall I do my usual thing and tell you what I think of it straight away? So, the warranty card. There's various warranty conditions in there. I'll put that on the ceiling cam. You can look at that and that will tell you what that is, because I haven't got my reading glasses on. Pantera 640 Zoom Quick Start Guide. Now, I think this will probably work fairly similarly to the DS3570 night vision, which, to be fair, I think had one of the most simple software setup procedures on it. But we've got an interesting instruction book here. We've got all the details in this. I'll probably put all this in the full review. 640 by 512 center, sub 20 millikelvin net D rating. I've got hot track, things like that. Detection distance 1200 meters. So that's all for the full review. There's obviously multiple languages in there as well, but let's have a little look. Right, I'm going to take that off there, take the battery connector off there, because that will now allow me to switch this on. So, rubber lens cap on the back, let's pop that out of the way, and then we've got obviously adjustable diopter here to set the reticle focus for your eyesight. On the front we've got a folding lens cap, which is thus, and then on the side it's now got a side focusing dial, and that would appear to be a manual zoom. So we'll check that out in a minute. Switch it on buttons on the side there, same as the DS35, and of course the DS35 was one of the first kind of tube night vision rifle scopes, and it had a massive benefit with it, and I think this might still have the same thing. It's actually got proper eye relief and it's got a circular field of view. It's not got a kind of chopped off sort of, how shall I put it, a circle with tops and bottoms chopped off, things like that. It's got a full circular field of view, so you're not chopped off in any way, shape or form anywhere, and that is interesting. Oh, I've just held the off button down. Now this is going to go on a Sauer 100 keeper rifle, which is actually sat next to me there. So my idea was, I'm going to just do a little bit of a chit chat about this while I'm setting it up. So let me just get that focused for my eyesight. That's about that. So we've got the usual controls for a Pard, where you've got a push button on top which brings up the menu structure, and then a rotating dial here, and then that gives me 25 or 50 millimeters. Well, it says 25 or 50 millimeters, and I believe that is going to be the zoom, or a manual zoom, but I can't focus it indoors, so this will be something for the full review. But oh, that's actually got a very good close focus, because I'm focusing that about 2 meters away. And that's got some nice resolution on it as well. So yeah, image focus is there. That appears to be a zoom. And then on top here, we've got the laser rangefinder with the ballistics readout. Similar button structure. I'll put the review up of my DS35 as a link here, because this has got a lot of similarities with it. And then we've got the rangefinder there. So the rangefinder, you'll press the rangefinder, yep, comes up, and then the second press brings up a little cross on your actual overall crosshair, which you can set it with the whole ballistics software to give you an accurate readout. Now, I'll be fair, I've probably shot more stuff at night with a PARD DS3570 or a DS3550 than anything else. So if this works anything similar to that in terms of its, how should we say, ergonomics is one of the words, but also the actual interactivity of the menu structure, that's going to be a big deal for me, because I get a lot of things that have got beautiful image quality and everybody goes, oh yeah, the image quality is great, it's brilliant, it's brilliant, it's brilliant, but they're a pig to use. That could be a pig to use because they've got very complicated menu structures. It's too easy to press the wrong thing, the wrong function, and get the wrong change made. There's also the issue that when you're out at night in the cold and the dark, you want to be able to actually operate the buttons without playing a clarinet on top of anything. So it will be nice to see that. Now these use 18650 flat top batteries, which makes life incredibly simple, because you can change that over in less than 30 seconds and get it switched back on as well, because obviously I've just turned that off by doing that. But that 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000, 6000, 7000, 8000, 9000, 10,000, 11,000, 12,000, 12,000. So take it about 11 seconds that took to turn back on. So, right, let's have a look at the rifle. This is going on. Now, you'll have seen me use this rifle. I've had this rifle about 5 years. It's one of my absolute favourites, a SAR 100 Keeper in 223. That, by the way, there is the rubber eye shield, and if you want, you can put that on. It's good for sort of keeping the reflection off your face and sealing out external light, but you don't really need it in terms of any recoil protection, because hey, you've got 100mm of eye relief with these, so you can use them in pretty much the same way as a normal rifle scope. Right, let me just grab my torque driver. Here's one I prepared earlier. So what should we talk about while I put this on here? Right, this is a thermal rifle scope. Number one, I'm just going to talk about me and thermal rifle scopes. I don't want to be shooting these at incredibly long distance. I don't like shooting anything at night at incredibly long distance, because I like to be very sure of what it is, where it is, and how it's reacting. Now, although it's very good to have amazing image quality for the ability to make a precise shot, I'm more interested in the image quality of actually being able to double check the identity of what I have already pointed a rifle at after I've more than likely detected it using a thermal imaging monocular. That is, just seems the way of the world, and certainly the way I seem to work these days. So these are tier 1 30mm tube Picatinny rings. These are medium height. These sort of live on this rifle because it's generally what everything goes into or fits into. We're going to just have to move the rear one a little bit just to make sure we can get the spacing on that. I got a load of criticism the other month for leaving my torque drivers set at the torque settings I use. So we said, oh, they'll all go wrong, they'll all go wrong, they'll all go wrong. Well, they haven't in 5 years, at least 5 years. That one's about 20 years old. It's been set at 5 Nm just forever. So clearly, might you know, it might apply if you're doing sort of a setup for putting on truck wheels and things like that, but perhaps not when you're just adding a few Nm for one of these. I do the top of the ring screws on this, by the way, at 2 Nm, and I do the base screws at 5. When they first used to make these rings, they actually advised 2 and 7, but I think they've gone to 2 and 5 now. But it's what I've pretty much used and set up for forever, ever since. as you can see, I'm just doing a bit of an ad lib kind of thing today, just chit-chatting as I'm actually doing something useful, rather than giving you some scripted video. Not that I ever do scripted videos, but sometimes I do kind of write myself a little cheat sheet with factors on it. Now when I actually come to putting this on, I will be opening the door so I can see a long way away, but I can line up that reticle now, because the vertical position of my reticle I will do visually until I find it unsatisfactory to do it that way, because it's all very well using spirit levels everywhere, but not everything's actually flat and level. So it's horses for courses. It's whatever you choose, whatever you want to do and how you want to do it. The thing is, I have put so many scopes and so many rifles, I've put that on and I'm looking behind it now, and there is absolutely nothing I want to do or change about the way that's fitting on there. That feels absolutely perfect for comfort, perfect for alignment, and they shall see. So let's pop these rings tight. Just make sure we're going in the usual opposing sequence, nice and diagonal. Get the ring spacing, you know, the gaps want to be about the same. It's not the most critical thing in the world probably, but you know, someone will complain at me if I don't do it. And like I say, since we're all being honest today, I haven't got my glasses on anyway. It's still looking level. Spacing is just a little bit less on that side, a little bit more on this side. Looks about right. Yeah, I'm still happy with that. Right, let's start nipping these down now then. So, going opposites, I'll put this under here so you can see what I'm doing. Going opposites. Just with my fingertips. Nipping it up, nipping it up, nipping it up, and then you'll finally hear one start to click. And then I'll just go around them all and do them all. Because there's no need to be forcing anything. And it's crucial that if you are forcing something, that means that you are distorting either the rail or the rings or the rifle receiver or something like that, or the scope itself. And any distortion going on there is A, not very beneficial towards the product, and B, definitely not repetitive, and probably the most likely thing to cause you issues with zero problems. And that looks absolutely perfect. I'm very happy with that. Right, I am itching to get out with this and use it. If I'm brutally honest, I did open the box yesterday, switched the battery on and had a little eyeball around the garden, but when it's not on a rifle, it's a little bit more difficult to use. Right, give me 1 second, I'm going to open the door. It's cold today, so I've got the heater on in here. Didn't seem having much point having the heater on with the big door open. But we're back in now. It's foggy. I've got a 200 metre view straight out of here. Well, it's not foggy, but it's a little bit misty. So what can I see? So, need to just bear in mind that I had that focused at very close distance a moment ago. Right. So essentially, when I move this collar, it changes between two focal lengths. And I'm mainly interested, just briefly, just double checking that I hold that rifle still. If I move that between those two different focal lengths, is it giving me any point of impact shift? Now, of course, that'll be something to test in the critical and the full review, because me holding it and doing that to it isn't necessarily absolutely perfectly stable, but I have to say it's certainly not showing any kind of shocking results going on. As I say, I'm looking at 200 metres away. One thing I will point out straight away though is, if you are left-handed, that isn't quite as happy as if you're right-handed, because you do need to adjust that, because that is your focus. But I'm thinking of the left-handers out there. I do sometimes shoot left-handed if it's appropriate, but to be honest, I'm not really one for getting too worried about using loads of zoom, loads of magnification on night vision scopes and thermal scopes, because it does seem to click back in and out of focus very well. I'm looking at a hot rock in the distance. And of course it has still got digital zoom. So my digital zoom's on the top here. Right, let's have a look at some of the numbers and see what it says. What are these actual things? Or shall we leave this till the full review? Put it this way, so far, nothing is, so much about what I do is about my gut feeling, and so far that just seems really, really simple. And I can't read it because I haven't got my reading glasses on. Anyway, right, let's have a little looky through here. Let's go into the menu structure, image setting, image display brightness, ballistic calculator. Ballistic calculator is on. Range unit selection, meters. You see, I like the way this works because I've just got simple turns to move it through the menu structure, and then presses, it says yes or no effectively. I've had a few of them where presses move it through the structure and turns actually activate or turn on or off functions, which I do find a little bit odd. Reticle adjustment, press OK. Yeah, that's got a nice system in there. That is instantly looking like it's going to be easy to work with. Whole digits, not loads of decimal places. Let me just see if the zoom changes anything going on there. Yeah, it switches it off basically. Go back into reticle adjustment. I can do 5 different setups. So I can do it on different rifles. And then we've got, so I'm just looking at all the different things in the menu here. Right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, that's what. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different reticle types, or you can have the reticle off. And then the next function is a reticle colour. So I've got red with a yellow cross on it, white with a yellow cross, yellow with a yellow cross, green with a yellow cross, and the yellow cross is effectively the aim off solution. I'll be able to change that in a different menu, but I think for now I'll probably put this on red. Save that, and then if I press the back button here, that works. Yeah, that works as it used to do. Shutter correction is turning on and off to do the pixelation, range unit selection, ballistic calculator on. Parameters. So the ballistic calculator parameters, right, muzzle velocity, meters per second. I'll just set this up ballpark at the moment. 914 is 3,000 feet per second. It's about what my ammunition is doing. It's 223 this, 55 grain VMAX. It's a 20-inch barrel, so it's not the fastest, but wow, is this reliable. 914 meters is 3,000 feet per second. Bullet weight, that's in grams, so I'll have to just figure that out. I need to do a conversion. I don't know off the top of my head. BC 465. Well, that wants to be about 250. I'll just set these up ballpark for the moment just to give myself an idea of this reticle working. Altitude, I'm at 50 meters here from sea level. I'd like to say I'm finding this, okay, it's a language, so to speak, that I've known for a few years because I've used its brothers effectively from PARD. But I just find it so easy to use. Temperature, temperature today is probably going to be about 5. Scope height, let's go 50 millimeters because that usually works. Zero range, 100 meters is my norm. Right, point, shape and colour. So this is where we can go for the different aim over markers. So I can have shape 0, shape 1. Right, so the different shapes for the aim over markers, we've got a diagonal yellow cross, we've got a flat yellow bar, or we've got a yellow square. Let's go for the diagonal yellow cross. And then in terms of colour, we can have yellow, we can have green, we can have blue. Yellow, green or blue. I think I'll stay with yellow, to be honest. That usually does that. Right, so I'll go and chronograph my ammunition because I've forgotten the exact velocity of it. It's something like 2,950 feet per second, something like that. I'll convert my bullet weight to metric just because I've chosen to set it up in metric because I use meters. I know it's a 55 grain bullet. I can't remember off the top of my head what that is in grams. But essentially, do I look stressed? Do I look happy? I am looking forward to using this because it's just simple, it's easy. And you know, realistically, a lot of people when the DS came out, they said, oh, it's like Star Trek on the front here. But in fairness, people have got illuminators and this, that and the other, and of course this one doesn't need an illuminator, it doesn't have an illuminator because it's thermal. That is still a projection there, but that's what's giving me my laser range finding capability. So if I now go back out here, my laser rangefinder is the rear button, I think, on this one, yep. So 188 meters, and then that's just giving me instantly my aim over mark for a 188 meter shot. Let's just change the magnification and see if it automatically changes. Yes, it does automatically change that on the optical magnification. And on the digital magnification, it also, I can see it moving up and down as the magnification changes. Right, I look happy. I'm off to a night vision event tonight. Funnily enough, Pard are not one of the participants in the night vision event I'm going to this evening, but I shall be able to see lots of other things from competing brands, and at the end of the day, you've no idea sometimes how stressed I get with thermal night vision because you've got to learn the language of setting up. Do I look happy? That's probably what I do. That's that. Right. Please like, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell, ding dong, and you'll be able to see a full review of this coming up in a few weeks' time. I've got a few adventures to do first, but this is going to be getting used for some foxing, and I also have some rabbits to look after and some Harris hawks to feed with said rabbits. So I should be using copper bullets. Right, thank you for watching. Bye for now.